Galnet News Digest, 22nd of November 3304. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, Lave passed over for Nexus replacement. A cowboy hat and a stripy fish. Distant Worlds 2 route announced. Newspaper folds. Thank you for your mug report. Lave passed over for Nexus replacement. The Alliance Council of Admirals has announced a replacement for disgraced terrorist Riri McAllister, giving a shock to the Lave system in the process. Commodore McAllister, currently missing believed dead, was in charge of the Lave fleet when appointed to the Council of Admirals, and it was widely expected that she'd be replaced by another Lavian. But the new appointee is Admiral Frederick Yamamoto from Zeonce, which is coincidentally the home system of the newly empowered President Gibson Kincaid. Yamamoto was the fleet admiral in Zeonce when Kincaid was governor there, and they're believed to be close personal friends. Nepotism is nothing new in Alliance politics. McAllister was appointed to the same role on the personal recommendation of close friend Admiral George Varma, shortly after she'd murdered the previous incumbent, Fleet Admiral Tulamag Buchanan. She was put in charge of tracking down the terrorist group the League of Reparation, until it was realised that she was also running that terrorist group under the codename Nexus. For political observers, the shift of power away from Lave is not unexpected. The Alliance fleet lost control of the system to a ragtag group of journalists earlier this year, and McAllister's uncloaking as a terrorist can't have helped the Alliance's reputation in the system. However, Prime Minister Mahan retains a strong personal interest in the system, and the appointment of a candidate from Zeonce is seen by many as a personal snub. Fleet Admiral Haley Sorokin, who led the induction ceremony, stressed that the Alliance put great store on strong and stable government. A cowboy hat and a stripy fish. The Pilots Federation confirmed this week that one of its greatest minds had moved on to a new and top-secret special project. They wouldn't reveal the nature of the project, leaving commanders guessing. We'll know where he is if we ever see dinosaurs transporting leaflets, roller coasters fitted with prismatic shields, or Thomas the Tank Engine firing trick shots to discover the other end of the troublesome trucks. Distant Worlds 2 route announced. An approximate route and start date for the Distant Worlds 2 expedition has been announced. The expedition, which like its predecessor will visit Sagittarius A Star and Beagle Point, crossing the galaxy in the process, has been more than a year in the planning, and has more than 3,500 commanders signed up already. There's still time to sign up, as the expedition will be leaving 3 years after the original Distant Worlds expedition in the second week of January 3305. Unlike the earlier expedition, Distant Worlds 2 also has a return route plotted, roughly following the path of the Starfleet spaceship USS Voyager. This may be an optimistic plan, as among the expedition's members will be a certain Harry Potter, flying the same Imperial clipper that brought an end to Kahina Loren, the so-called Salome. The exact timings of the itinerary have not yet been revealed, but in April this year Beagle Point is likely to be painted red with the blood of naive and credulous explorers. A special commemorative drinking vessel will be made available, bearing the legend, "Harry Potter destroyed my ship at Beagle Point, and all I'm left with is this lousy mug." Newspaper folds. The Mars Tribune has ceased publication with immediate effect, and its billionaire owner Kingsley Cordova has been arrested, charged with blackmail and corruption. It's alleged that Cordova blackmailed a programmer working for manufacturer Achilles Corporation to plant spy software in a number of PA-912 personal assistant robots to allow the Tribune to spy on prominent people in the Sol system. The anonymous programmer has been granted immunity from prosecution in return for her testimony. Cordova had previously been congratulated by the federal government for unmasking the corruption of Congressman Morgan Unwin. The Cordova group of companies will now be subject to intense scrutiny by a team of government auditors. There are rumours that the newspaper may eventually resume publication under the revised title of the Tribune on Sunday. Thank you for your mug report. The Pilots Federation has thanked all those commanders who've reported issues with Galactic Simulator 3.3. But special thanks go to Commander Simulator, who reported something slightly different. A very large mug in the cockpit of the new Zorgon Peterson Mamba. Unfortunately, the mug is not a genuine Hutton mug, bearing instead the logo of the ship's manufacturer. There also seems to be a large cattle prod in the cockpit, presumably for keeping space cows under control. And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news so you don't have to.